اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. If you don't know what life is, and if you don't understand what life is, then we won't know the things that we are going in life and why they're happening to us and why those things do not make sense to us and we become overwhelmed by them. We don't know where deen fits into our life because we don't know what life is. And that's why it's important for us to know what life is. Now, to understand life, we need to understand the three dimensions of life. The first dimension is the length of life, which means how long will you live for? Your goals, your priorities, your ambitions, your dreams depend on how long you think you live for. If you know that you are going to live forever, then your plans will be forever. Your goals will be forever. If you think that you're going to live for 100 years, your plans will be for 100 years. And the length of life is that it is eternity. It is forever. That is the length of life. Now, the height of life, because I'm going to mention the height and the width today, so I'm going to make it brief on both sides and just explain in a really fast manner as to what it means. But inshallah, that'll give you time to think and to comprehend what life is. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My friends, the height of life is what we are and what we achieve and what we become in our actual life. What are we going to become in our actual life? Now, it's great to know that we are going to live forever. It's great to know that. But what's the use of living forever if you're going to be a sheep or a dog? I mean, that would be a horrible mess. That I have eternity, but I am a sheep grazing grass. Forever. That wouldn't be great, would it? Yeah, that's right. So what happens is that you need to make something of yourself to reach a place where you can make yourself into that. That's the height of life. Height of what you can reach of life. Now, where do you get that? How do you get that? Well, the problem is you get and you attain the height of life in the life that you're living here in this dunya. You see? In this dunya where you're living for the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years is where you make whatever you make yourself as. This is it. For eternity, you're going to just have this time to make yourself. Now, when you look at the length of life, the life here has no meaning. Because eternity and 60 years, this 60 years, 70 years has no meaning in front of eternity. But when you look at the height of life, then the life of this dunya finds meaning. Everything now has a meaning here. Everything that you do has a meaning here. As I said, there's a lot of things to explain in this, but I'm going to go through this fast so that we don't have that much time to explain all of this. So let me give you a very easy example so you can understand what I'm saying. Let's send the salawats. You know, I go to Walmart and I'm in the line at the register, and you know what? They give me an announcement and say, hey, you know, you are the 1 trillionth customer. Okay, so what? So you get a free shopping spree. What does that mean? Well, we're going to give you this card, and all the people who are there that day, they get a card, and they say that you can run and get anything you want, and you have 10 minutes to get it. Now, you got the card, and you got a limited amount of time, and now you have to go in the whole store and you can get anything you want and you can put it in the card. Now, you see, here's where everyone is starting. Now, okay, great, let's go, let's do it. Now, where do you think I should go? The electronics, good. You know, electronics. Anyone has a different department I can go to? The toy section, you know, if you're a kid, you know, that's important for you. Okay. The gaming section, very good. So now you got the idea, right? You start to go to those places where you can get the most out of your time, right? That's where you will go. So you go to all these places running around and you try to do wherever you get the most expensive things and you can get the most pricey things and the best things, you go and spend there. What if you see someone spending their time looking at the Fruit Looms section?
What the heck? Huh?
Or the Hanes section, underwear? You know? And you're looking at them and says, what are you doing in the underwear aisle? I'm looking for my underwear. Might be important for you, man, but you have limited time here. You know you got limited time here, right? I mean, why are you in a place where you really don't need this? You can, you know, spend the time later. You see, this is the end. Life of this dunya is like this. Allah has given you a shopping cart. Allah has given you a limited time. And Allah said, now go and get whatever you want and put it in this cart. So now everyone is running around and trying to put things in their cart. Some people you see are trying to find new YouTube videos to look at. Some people are going around and watching games or playing games. Some people do all kinds of things. Now if you're intelligent, where would you go? Where would you go in life if you are intelligent? You see, really, this is what life is here. The height of the life is decided here. How much are you putting into your cart? You only have a limited amount of time. See, now life becomes exciting. Every minute lost is an opportunity lost. Every moment becomes precious. It's the height of life that makes this life here so precious. It's like, why am I wasting my time? I can be doing so many greater things, better things. You know, that's why, for example, a mu'min is smart. Why? Because he would rather spend the time he has in the Majlis of Imam Hussain. Because he knows he's getting the most out of his time by sitting here. You see, it's value. It has value. Time has value, and what you do in that time has value. Because of the height, not because of the length. Because of the length, you're like, this life is nothing, that's eternity, and this is like 50, 60 years, it's useless. Though, when you look at the height, then you're like, wow, whatever I am there depends on here, then everything is going to change. You see that? Now things change. Now every moment I spend is being accounted for. Time is ticking. Time is ticking. What are you going to do? How close you are to Imam Hussein in Jannah depends on where you spend your time here and how you spend your time in this life, in this 60 years that you have. How do you spend your time here? And how far you are from Imam Hussein depends on that also. This is where everything small, one principle is this: every small thing here has a huge effect in Akhirat. A small thing here has a huge effect in Akhirat. You know that? Yes. Very small thing, you can do something here, but you will see the effect in Akhirat is so big, you will be surprised at it. You know, one salawat here is like billions of steps in Akhirat. One small thing, you think this is small, but it has a huge thing. You'll be like, wow, all of this for one salawat? Wow, I'm amazed. You will be shocked. All of this for one salawat? It's like Allah says, yes, a small step here is a huge climb there. That's what you need to understand, that nothing in this world is small. It looks small, but nothing is small when you see the effect of it in your akhirat, in your real life. Everything has a big effect, whether it is a good thing or a bad thing. Whether you do something good, it will have a huge effect, and if you do something evil, it will have a huge effect in the akhirat. A huge effect it will have in the akhirat. Little thing that you will do, you will see that, my goodness, I hurt myself so much. Like yesterday I gave the example of listening to a wrong speaker of Islam. Anyone who's speaking about Islam, reading someone who's wrong, who's not mukhlis, who's doing it for his own name, who's doing it for his own ego, you listen to him, it will bring you down in Jannah so much that you'll be like, why did I listen to him? Why did I listen to him? You see, this is how it happens. So don't take anything lightly here. Now, would we take anything lightly? Knowing that every small thing we do will have a huge effect? If we do a guna, that has a huge effect. You don't know the effect it has. That's why now when you do a sin and a guna and disobey Allah, even a small thing, in your real life is huge. So now you can imagine why guna is wrong. Because that guna is a huge slide for you going downwards. Why every good deed is good for you? Because that little good deed has such a big help in the akhirat. You know, just for example, if a child, you know the stories, for the kids. If you listen like the kids, right? I'll tell you this. In the grave, this person died in the grave. He was in the grave and Imam Sadiq pulled him out of the grave. Or he told the others, Imam Sadiq told the others that this person in the grave was getting azab of Allah, punishment from Allah, and Allah stopped his punishment. They asked him, why did he stop his punishment? Imam Sadiq said, because his son, who is a boy right now, a young boy right now, has started reading Quran. And he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He learned it from his teacher. Just because the child read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the father in the grave has been protected from the fire of Allah, the fire of hell. Just that little thing can have such a huge effect. So don't take anything in this life frivolously. This is nothing, it's okay. No, it's not okay. So this is where the height of life, you see the difference it makes in the life of this dunya. When you look at it, in comparison to your real life, which is after death. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. My friends, Allah says in the Quran that life is a game. Life is a game. You know, everything about the whole structure of this life that Allah has given us is like a game. وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ. This life is nothing but a game. Don't take it seriously. Don't take it too seriously. It is a game. And the whole structure is like a game of this life. You know, very simple. If you look at this life, you'll see that Allah has made everything limited, restricted. You know, everyone, for example, is looking for a job. There's one job and, 50 people come, unless the economy is like this where you have no workers. And they get free money. But normally, there's one job, 100 people are running after it, right? With applications. Now the employers are running after workers, Where do you give you work, man? Come on, sign up. So it's different nowadays, but normally the workers and the people looking for jobs are running after jobs, right? It's because there's restriction. That's how the world is. The whole universe is like that. Allah made it like that. Let me give an example, it's easier to understand. This one grandfather came from Pakistan, some village in Pakistan. And he came to America, and his grandson was in high school, and he was playing in the basketball team, the varsity team for basketball in high school. So the grandson said, that I play basketball. He says, what is basketball, We know cricket. What is basketball? So he says, let's go and see that, right? So there we go. We go to the basketball. He takes him to the basketball. They have playing there, over there, and doing practice. So he explains to them certain things. They're doing practice, and he sees that they're trying to run after one ball. Everyone is running after one ball, and one person is stealing the ball from the other, and all of these things. So the grandfather is like, okay, you know what? I need to help them out. So what he does is that he goes to the store and buys 10 basketballs and brings them and throws them in the court. He says, listen, you don't need to fight over one ball. Now you can play with your own ball. Now what happens is this, grandfather, what are you doing? He says, I'm giving everyone their own ball so they can play with. They don't have to fight each other, but that's the whole point of the game. There's only one ball. If you give them all the balls, there won't be a game anymore. You see, for a game to become a game, there has to be a limitation. Things have to be limited. They have to be restricted. Otherwise, it cannot be a game. If Allah gave everyone their own mansions and their own things and all that, it wouldn't be a game anymore. It wouldn't be exciting anymore. A game only becomes a game when there's restriction. That's when the challenges come. I remember when I was a kid, the only video game we had was an Atari. I don't know if you ever heard of Atari. Yes, if you haven't heard of Atari, it's way before PS4 and PS5. It's way before that. Atari, Xbox and all that. Way before that, and if you want to see where Atari is, you need to go to the game museum. And you will find it there in the museum, right? But I used to play that. My dad, he brought the Atari into our house, and what happened is that I started to play the game, let's say. And it was very exciting for us. You know what the game was? It was this car, and I'm just riding this car. I'm like riding it, just going. And nothing's happening. I'm just going. There's no accidents, there's no other cars, there's nothing. I'm just riding. And like half an hour goes by, 1 hour, I'm excited. I say, wow, I'm riding a car. Now, in the PS4, PS5 generation now, if you give them that game and say, here's a game for you, and they play that game and they're just writing, I tell you, after 5 minutes they say, Dad, this is retarded. It is. I mean, why? Why is it retarded for? There's nothing going on. There's no accidents. There's no, nothing to catch, nothing to fire, nothing to be hurt with, nothing to be doing that. So what's going on over here? What kind of thing? It will become, this game will become a game and exciting when there are challenges, when there's restrictions, when there are problems. Problems and restrictions and challenges are there in life because Allah says life is a game. It's supposed to be a game. Without these challenges, you would be so bored because it will be like nothing. Every day, a monotonous life, like you live like a robot. Challenges are there because of that. Restrictions are there because of that. Allah put these restrictions for you. These restrictions are there in order that this life can become a game for you. The structure, if you understand the structure of life, you will enjoy life. You don't need things in life. You don't need to go and find good food or take a vacation or anything like that. Just understanding how life is working in the structure is so amusing and so beautiful that a person doesn't need to find things in life to do. Itself is exciting if you just see that. So this is what the length of life is, how long you will live. That's forever. Height of life is what you make yourself, and that height you reach in this dunya. So that's why every moment of this dunya becomes precious for you. Every second becomes precious for you. Now let's go to the width of life. Let's send the salawats. My friends, the width of life simply means how much of the blessings of Allah can you use? Do you have the ability to use? We all have limitations. We all have limitations. I can say, I'm so hungry I can eat a cow. Can you? Well, no, I can't. I can just eat a steak. Well, why do you say a cow? You see, you don't have the ability to eat that much. You're limited, right? You're limited. Your capacity is limited. That's it. So there's two types of limitations. There are limitations that we have no control over. They're called takwini. Takwini are limitations we have that are forced on us, like our heartbeat. The heartbeat, we don't have any control over it. How much can I eat? Okay, there's a limitation. I want to eat more, but I'm limited to what I can eat. How high can you jump? Well, there's gravity, so you're limited in how high you can jump. So these limitations are something that are forced on us. So these are known as forced limitations. Now there are certain limitations that are by choice. These are called tashri'i. Tashri'i are limitations that the Shariat has set. Allah says this is haram. This is wajib. Right? Allah says this is haram, don't do this. This is wajib, do this. So these are limitations by choice. Can you not pray? If, for example, you don't want to pray, are you compelled to pray? No, you can miss if you want. It's a sin, but you can. But are you able to eat a cow? No, you can't. You see, that's something that you can't break. That's a limitation you can't break. It forced on you, right? Understand very carefully. I'm trying to explain it in an easy way for you to understand this about the width of life. So you have limitations that are forced on you that Allah has made, that there's no way for you but to go through that. And then you have limitations of choice that you can choose to do. I choose to limit myself from doing this. For example, you choose not to eat salt because you have blood pressure. You choose not to eat sugar because you're diabetic. So this is a choice you're making. No one is stopping you from doing that. It's a choice. You're limiting yourself. So what is haram? It's a choice you have to limit yourself. I limit myself from eating this haram. Okay, good. Wajib, you have to do this. I am limiting myself, restricting myself to this wajib by doing this. It's my choice that I do this. So why is this haram there? Why is this limitation there? Why is this headache there of having to follow this haram and wajib in this life? Why are we limiting ourselves more than the limitations that we have? You see, the width of life is what? How much can you use the blessings of Allah? You are limited in using the blessings of Allah. You are limited. Just understand that. So now what happens when these limitations of choice that Allah gave you, haram and halal, what are they meant for? What they're meant for is this, that when you limit yourself here by not doing an haram and by doing a wajib, you're opening your capacity of using Allah's blessings in akhirat. You see, how much can you use? Allah wants to give you a lot of blessings, but you can't take it. So how do I open my ability to use His blessings? By following the limitations Allah has set. Limit yourself here, and these are the codes and the keys that are opening up your limitations that are takwini, that are going to be opened up in the akhirat. Where Allah now will give you a whole ocean, and you can take the whole ocean and use it. Because now you have opened those abilities. So now you see that wajib and haram, where does it fit in your life? These are things that are opening your own limitations. That's what it's meant for. Allah stopped you on certain things, made you do certain things, so that those limitations that you have can be opened up and your width can be opened up, so in akhirat you can use the blessings that Allah wants to give you in Jannah. And the more you will do that, the more you will open yourself to Allah's blessings. This is where the ranks in Jannah come from. This is where the ranks of Jannah come from. Why are you at a lower rank in Jannah? Because you didn't open up the ability to use Allah's blessings, that's why. If you had opened it more, if you had sacrificed more, if you had done more, then you know what? You would have opened more and you would have been higher. The people who were with Imam Hussein, they opened up those blessings so much that now they are in the neighborhood of Imam Hussein. If you have the choice also to do that, but this is a limitation that you do by choice. By choice. I choose to not do this. I choose to do this. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is the width of life, my friends. So all of these things, the length and the height and the width of life, puts life into perspective as to why everything is this way. Because I can't do anything the length of life. Length of life is absolute, which is forever. It is going to be there forever. That's how long I'm going to live. But in these last two, in the height and in the width, I have a choice. I can increase my height and I can increase my width. Now the height is there so that we can now have the motivation to live in this life, to find excitement in this life, to find purpose in this life. What is the purpose in this life? Because I want to increase my height. I want to go as high as I can to reach the best place. That's what I want to do. The width of life. How much can I use Allah's blessing? Allah wants to give me so much. But you know what? If I don't open it up to take it, then it will be so unfortunate that Allah wants to give me so much blessing, but I can't take it. It is like that. Allah really knocks on the door of people and offers him these great places in Jannah, and you know what? So easily they refuse it. So easily they say no to it. It's amazing. It's truly amazing how easily we just say no. And Allah is knocking on your door and saying, here, take this. I'm offering you this place so high. And we just refuse it. There was this person called Ubaidullah ibn Hur al-Juhfi. Ubaidullah ibn Hur al-Juhfi. This is a person that Imam Hussein himself goes and meets with him. Goes to him. Imam Hussein goes to him, comes there as his guest, and tells Ubaidullah, listen, I want to invite you to come with me. Join me. Can you imagine this? Imam Hussein himself coming and saying, join me. Not writing to him or sending a message. No, he himself came to him and says, join me. Be with me. This is your chance. I'm asking you to be with me. Imam Hussein himself asking him to be with them. Just imagine if Imam Hussein is coming and asking you, please be with me. Wouldn't it be an honor? This person, he says, be with me. Imam Hussein didn't even say that to Zuhair ibn Qayn. He just sent a message to Zuhair. Ask Zuhair to come and meet me. He went to Ubaidullah ibn Hur al-Juhfi and said, here, come be with me. And you know what he did, Ubaidullah? He says, listen, the path you're taking is leading to death. It's going to lead nowhere. It's going to lead to death. But, you know, I don't want to disappoint you completely. I want to give a donation for your movement. So please take my horse and this sword as a donation for your movement. I mean, really, Imam Hussein is at his door and he's refusing. Can you imagine that? Allah is sending him an invitation to reach the highest ranks, and so easily he said, take my horse, I'll give a donation. Here, take this donation. And he gives that away. Imam Hussein said, I don't need your horse. Really, if I want, I mean, really, he never understood Imam Hussein. And this is why, my friends, we want to get as close to Imam Hussein as we can in this life. We don't have time to waste. Every moment is precious for us. We don't have time to waste. We want to get close as we can to Imam Hussein. We will get close, but I will assure you one thing and guarantee you one thing. You will never become the neighbor of Imam Hussein. You will never become the neighbor of Imam Hussein. I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to disappoint you all. But you will never become the neighbor of Imam Hussein, because Imam Hussein's neighbor is Abul Fadl Abbas. That place belongs to him. Abul Fazl Abbas. That belongs to him. No one can take that place from Abbas. You know, that's why La ilaha illallah. Imam Ali was so much in love with Hazrat Abbas that when Imam Ali used to look at Hazrat Abbas, he would start staring at him with so much love and so much affection. And people will see that. I mean, what is it with you and this kid of yours? He says, you don't know. You don't know what Abbas is. Who is Abbas? Imam Ali fell in love with Hazrat Abbas. Imam Ali fell in love with Hazrat Abbas. How much do you all know about Hazrat Abbas? Do you even know about his life? How he was raised? What was he? What kind of personality he has? What kind of person he was? What did he used to do? What were his likes and dislikes? We don't know anything about Hazrat Abbas. The only thing you know about Hazrat Abbas is some things that happened on Ashura. And just that little information you have of Hazrat Abbas has made you fall in love with him. Has made you fall in love with him in such a manner that you cry like a baby when you see and you hear about Abbas. So I just ask you one thing. If Abbas has this effect on you, that you just know so little about Hazrat Abbas, imagine the effect that Abbas had on Zainab. Salam be on Zainab, that Abbas, who we are crazy because we only heard a little bit about, but Zainab, you know Abbas. Imagine when Abbas was leaving, how did it feel to you? La ilaha illallah. How does it feel to you? All I will say is this. Abbas was that person who had so much respect for Imam Hussein's family. Abbas says that I used to love Hussein. But I also respected him. And what that did is that whenever I loved Hussein, I felt the love of Hussein, I wanted to kiss him. But my respect for him will keep me away from kissing him. I would shy away from kissing him. So whenever I felt love for Hussein, I would go to his children and kiss their feet. He would take the feet of Ali Akbar and kiss his feet. He would take the feet of Zakina and kiss her feet. This was Abbas. See the respect that he had for the family of Imam Hussein, for the children of Imam Hussein, for the sister of Imam Hussein. It is said that when they put the head of Abbas on a spear, they said that the head used to fall off the spear. It used to fall off the spear. And what they did is that they would not put the head on the spear because they could never keep it on the spear. They tied his head on a horse, the neck of a horse. They tied it on the neck of a horse. It was hanging on the neck of a horse, his head. And someone saw this. They saw that the head is hanging on the horse like that. So they came and said, why is his head here? He said, we don't know. Every time we put it on the spear, it falls off. He said, why is that? He said, we don't know. They said, this man over here, right? He's from their family. He might know. Go and ask him. So that person went to Imam Sajjad. It is said he went to him and he asked Imam Sajjad, I want to ask you a question. Whose head is this? He said, that's the head of my uncle Abbas. That's the head of my uncle Abbas. He says, why is this head on this neck of a horse? Why is it hanging here on the neck of a horse? Why is it not on top of a spear? Well, he says, because my uncle Abbas, my uncle Abbas grew up protecting the honor of the family of Ali and the family of Hussein. Whenever they keep it up, he sees his sister Zainab and Kulthum and the daughters of Imam Hussein. He cannot keep himself on the spear. His head falls to the spear. This is how his head, his head wasn't the only head that fell down from there. Another head that fell down from there. Really, when they were taken to Kufa, how many stones were thrown on Ahlul Bayt? You know how many stones were thrown on Ahlul Bayt? Everyone had stones in their hands and they were pelting them. They're pelting them on Ahlul Bayt and on this caravan that was being taken. They're pelting those stones on them. And as they were pelting those stones on them, so many stones were pelted there that a 6-month-old head was hit by those stones and fell to the ground. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون يا محمود بحق محمد يا علا بحق علي يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة يا محسن بحق ياسين يا قديم الإحسان بحق حسين. Allah give us the tawfiq to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand your guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam. Make us his helper when he comes. وآخر الدعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. ماتم حسين. Hussein. Ya 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 Hussein. Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. It's of Khair by Abbas's hand. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. 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 Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Allah, I'm only a grain of sand. The blood that I have been stained with has made my value grand. On that truth forsaken day on which Hussein had his last stand, I've carried a burden all my days, I swear by Abbas's hand. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, I'm that wind that blew beside Hussein. Oh, what more shall I say? In the night I cried and howled from all the sadness of that day. Oh, I saw the body of Imam Hussein lie on the river banks. Since then I've traveled the 7 seas to share the story of Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, I'm the star that twinkled in the night when darkness did prevail. Until now I've only seen Ali Muhammad's woman veiled. But tonight I saw them snatch it off. They've taken Zainab's scarf. I've been burning hot with anger ever since. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything. I'm the fire that was forced upon to set the tents ablaze. Oh, they use me against the Ahlul Bayt to scare them in a craze. I'm the fire that was set upon the tents and tents ablaze. Oh, they use me against the Ahlul Bayt to scare them in a craze. I've been waiting for my redemption, my Lord, by your will. I'll burn them in the afterlife, I'll burn them all in hell. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah. I'm the moon residing in the night above Karbala sky. I witnessed so much grief and pain when I saw Sakina cry. I'm the moon residing in the night above Karbala sky. I witnessed so much grief and pain when I saw Sakina cry. Saw her searching for her father in the darkness of the night. Oh, I tried my best, Sakina, how I wish I had more light. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Ya Allah, Allah, everything mourns Hussein. Salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله